People, the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People at 7 on Twitter and YouTube, People at elsewhere on the internet. My soaps look at Purple Butterfly soaps.myshopify.com, my blog, purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. This is day 4, and this is what I have so far. I did the hairline and some wispies and the ear. And if I lift this up, you will see there's going to be a widow's peak because I have a widow's peak. Yeah. And then when it's all said and done, I'm going to bleach it so that way it gets to be blonde or some shade of blonde. Hopefully it'll be a light blonde, but I'm only going to do 1 round of bleach so we don't have the meltdown like we have with the others. I saved the cap so I can actually reventilate it if I want, but yeah. In the meantime, I've been working on this for a couple of hours and my hands are cramping and I have a little split right there. So, gotta give my hands a break. Otherwise, that was a good catch. Otherwise, I would still be working on that. And the swelling went down, as you can tell, and the red has kind of gone away. It's not puckering me when I go like this anymore. This cortisol cream stuff, this stuff is the boss. It says 2.5%. I have no idea what that means, other than it's stronger than the stuff that I already had here, which is 1% and hiding from me at the moment. Okay, it's usually right there on my dresser. But yeah. In the meantime, the 1% was prescribed for my legs because I have this rash type thing that's going on in my leg right there, and it keeps reoccurring. So when they gave me the prescription for the cortisol cream, they said to stop using the 1% and to use the 2.5. So that means it's okay to put that on my legs, since the 1% was prescribed for my legs, and they said stop using that and use that. So maybe that'll speed up the healing process of that and this at the same time. The only issue I had, because it wasn't covered in the paperwork, was, well, what if I take a shower? Is that going to wash off? And you only put it on twice a day, so I'm thinking, okay, so do I like not wash my arm? How does that work? And my daughter said it actually penetrates your skin and stays in your system for 12 hours at a time, which is why you only use it twice a day. So go ahead and wash your arm. It shouldn't matter. And I thought, okay, but the itch is going to come back. Nope. It's been almost 12 hours and I've got an itch right here, none right here. All of this was itchy at first and it's only itching right there. So I'm thinking I must have missed that spot. But I still had 2 hours to go before I could put the next dose on. So yeah, I've been doing this every now and then. That's just plain water that I was using to wet up the hair so that way I can brush it, so that way I could smooth the knots down, so that way it doesn't unravel when I go to the next section to ventilate. But water works because your brain says you did something. It's like when it was really, really itchy at first, before they gave me the cortisol cream, I was doing this and scratching this side, so that way phantom itch, you know, it provides some relief. It's like when you have an itch because it's time to color your hair. And anybody that's ever had a perm or had hair coloring done or had their hair bleached, the first thing they say is don't scratch your scalp. And you might not even have an itch until the moment they say don't scratch your scalp. Then all of a sudden, well, you can't scratch your scalp because, trust me, especially if you use some bleach, that will burn. It'll feel like someone's doing this with some heat in that exact spot. So that's how come people came up with this nonsense. This, when you see somebody doing this, means they want to do this. So this is the mental cue to tell your scalp, hey, you're being scratched, so stop itching. And oddly enough, that actually works. So when this part started itching, I kept doing this. And every now and then I would spray it with water and just rub it. Rubbing is not scratching. Now, if I rubbed it like this, that might be problematic. So that's why I put the water on there, so that way the cool sensation of the water, is a trick I learned a long time ago, dealing with phantom itch. I think I saw it on an episode of House where the guy had one arm and his arm kept hurting even though there was no arm there, so he put him in a mirror box and told him, ball your fists up on both sides, now rub your arm, scratch your arm, whatever. And he was looking at the reflection of this hand, but this side of his body reacted to it, and that made the pain that he was having go away. It was a phantom pain. Well, the same thing with a phantom itch. This side is itchy and you can't scratch it. Scratch this side. Or spray water. Get some kind of sensation there that's not the... that compensates for what you want to do, which will be scratch. You can't scratch, so rub very gently with a little water. That's how I got through the last 24 hours, because trust me, until that cortisone cream kicked in, it was a burning itch. And that's the problem I have with my legs. The hydria, which lowers my platelets, causes a burning itch and a rash, and that might actually be from the ET, or it could be from the hydria. All I know is I noticed it when the hydria dose was increased, and it's not just an itch, it's a burning itch, which makes it tough to deal with. So then you go like this, that doesn't work, you end up going like this. And as you can tell, I scratched a literal hole in my skin. And the moment I broke the skin, my body overreacts because of the blood disorder. So it basically sent the bruise there. The bruise became a rash because, all the blood cells are trying to heal. But because I don't heal in a normal fashion, bruise, rash, itch, burn is, When I first got diagnosed, the itching was mostly at my fingertips and my toes. That was so unpleasant. And yeah, that's when they said, well, you could try cool water or Epsom salt, so forth, so on. And I bought a bathtub because this apartment don't come with one. just so I can soak in a bathtub with Epsom salt. And trust me, it works. Or that also works if you have eczema. Or if you don't have a bathtub, shower. Take the Epsom salt, put it in your hand, get it wet, and make sure your skin's wet, and then rub it everywhere you have the itch, and leave it for like 5 to 30 to a minute, seconds to a minute, until you can't stand it anymore, because it's going to feel hot, it's going to start burning, and then rinse it off real quick, and the itch goes away. It's like you rinsed it away, but the Epsom salt needs to penetrate your skin, because the magnesium is what's curing the itchiness. I had a magnesium deficiency, and that's what they told me. They also prescribed avocados. And anybody that knows me knows I cannot stand avocados. I don't like the texture. I don't like the color. I don't like the lack of taste. Things have to have a flavor. People are mixing this stuff up in chocolate to get a chocolate pudding. And yeah, avocados don't need to be in the sweet spectrum. But by the same token, you add salt, and it needs salt. Even though it has salt. Avocados don't know what they want to be. They don't know if they want to be sweet or salty or bitter or bland. It's literally a fruit. I keep wanting to say vegetable. It's actually a fruit that has no flavor. And that's the issue I have. That and the texture. It's just, ugh. I can't stand it. But I had to eat 2 avocados a day for a week to bring my magnesium levels up. And then he goes, or you can soak in Epsom salt. I said, I'll soak in Epsom salt twice a day until you say stop. He goes, oh, you don't have to do it that much. But yeah, also when you soak in Epsom salt, the water feels hotter than, it seems like it concentrates the heat. So it's almost like a sauna effect. Love that. So that's how I got rid of the burning on my toes and stuff. And I wanted to do that with the wasp thing, but I didn't know if that was safe, because, I mean, there's the little dot from the wasp right there. And my arm swelled up this much, then this much, then the whole, all in 12 hours. So I'm thinking if I did something contrary to what the paperwork said, what the doctor said, or whatever, then my arm would have swelled up to here, and then, And that's another thing. They gave me this medicine to take just in case, depending on if this swelling, because, I mean, look how thick my wrist has gotten compared to my other one, But if that doesn't go down, he said within 2 days, so tomorrow will be the 2nd day. Then I take this stuff 4 times a day, once at meals and at bedtime for 5 days. And then it lists the side effects, and I try to do a single one of those side effects. So we praying that there's going to be no infection. So I'm going to faithfully follow the regimen that they gave me, along with the Benadryl. And yeah, and then I have a doctor's appointment day after tomorrow to follow up with my doctor, so she could give her opinion on the follow-up procedures, so that way this will go away. And then I'm going to look into some deterrents. Like, I spray, to this day, peppermint oil in various sections of any house I live in, because spiders are naturally allergic to peppermint. And I can't stand spiders, especially anywhere near me. Now, granted, it's a proven fact that you are never more than 40 feet away from a spider anywhere on planet Earth. But this little area that I call home, spiders avoid any place that peppermint oil, especially if you mix that peppermint oil with a little coconut oil and some vinegar and spray it, you will never see a spider in those locations. Also, get you some peppermint plants if you don't want to spray, peppermint oil, because that would be cheaper in the long run. Plus, you could pluck a couple of sprigs of the peppermint, put it in your tea, and have a nice refreshing beverage. Yeah, a drink. And yeah, I also spray peppermint oil on me, and that keeps spiders away from me. So I'm trying to figure out what will be proactive that bees and wasps can't stand. I'm doing a little research. And say, for instance, they don't like apple. I'll spray my whole body with apple before I go over to my daughter's house, because there's so many wasps and bees over there. I'm thinking there's a hive somewhere. We just haven't located it. But they'll know to stay away from me because, oh no, she smells like something we are allergic to, or we can't be around. That's like if you want dogs off of your property and your neighbor keep letting their dog just do what they do or whatever. Spray some bitter apple, sprinkle some pepper, some cinnamon. Dogs, before they do what they do, sniff. They won't get on that line because they smell it, they'll avoid it. So you don't have to worry about them doing they do and then failing to, and then they're human, failing to scoop up the mess and leave it for you. It's like after every rain, I went over our entire property line with a little cinnamon, because my sister had this big old container, and when she moved back to Louisiana, I inherited all the cinnamon. Now, she loves cinnamon, sprinkled it on everything all the time, but I happen to be allergic to cinnamon, so that's what I did with it. I just sprinkled it over the lawn, and this one neighbor who, failed to scoop up their stuff from their pet, complained, what are you sprinkling down there? That's burning my pet's feet. Then don't have them walk on my yard. Simple solution. I sprinkle cinnamon all over. Well, why would you do that? Because it smells nice. Well, I said, and there's a sign right there that says, please avoid using this lawn for your pets. Why don't you take your dog for a walk at your house, in your backyard? Because she don't want to scoop up the poop in her house, at her backyard. Well, what makes you think I want to scoop up your mess from your animal? She should feel real lucky I didn't put cayenne pepper there. Because I know for a fact that will burn the feet and keep the pet away. But I use something simple, cinnamon. It doesn't kill them. It doesn't really burn them. It just makes them avoid the area, period. Bitter apple, which is expensive, will make them avoid the area. So that way, hey, go ahead and do your do on Kay's yard. Master, I'm going to go over there to George's yard. Or we could go to our own backyard. But they will avoid your yard like the plague. And people might say that's mean. Well, I say this to them. If you don't want your pets anywhere near deterrents that I put down, don't bring your pets to my house. You don't have your pets at your house, in the backyard, that you could poop up they scoop up they poop. So why are you gonna bring them to my house? To me, that's logic. And yes, I started back smoking. I do intend to quit, but not at this appointed time. In the meantime, let me remember to rub, not scratch. I almost did it. Yeah, we'll do that. In the meantime, and see, that's how come I'm known as being random, because I go off on a tangent in a heartbeat. In the meantime, I have done a couple of hours work on the full lace wig. Now I'm finna to take a marker because as you've seen, I literally went around the halo. So now it's time to put like little mark sections where I can work on this part, work on this part, work on that part. You see me do that with the pink lace wig, and that's how I ended up with a little spot in the middle that was in 4 sections. That's how that came about, because that way you can make pre-planned parts in certain parts, so that way you don't have to thin it out here and thin it out there. Basically, I just go with the flow, and if I have a section here, I have a section there, it's automatically a part when I work that area, because, you know, no one's going to just erase a part when they can have a, I mean, and I always do a 3, you know, a part here, and a part here, so that way, even, I mean, with full length wig, you part anywhere, but if you want a sharp part, just leave a line in those 3 areas that's unworked, and you have a perfect part. You know, every now and then I'll go through the middle of one of those perfect sections, so that way it has a appeal of like a natural part. Because even if I took something and gave myself an absolute straight part, you will see there might be a little hair here or one over here, because hair doesn't always part in an exact line. You know, well, mine doesn't. You know, it's like my widow's peak, even though it forms a V, it's not a straight line either. It's like a little hair on each side of it that's, you know, it doesn't make a straight. It's almost like a wiggle here and a wiggle there. But when I make wigs, for me, I emulate what my natural hair and my natural hairline is. It's like I have a crooked hairline. You see that? It goes in, it comes back out. If you notice the black, the canvas black, those lines are drawn in. See? There's a reason they're drawn in like that. One day I took, well, I made a cast of my exact head, and since I have a 24-inch head, when I put the cast on the 22, it was too big because, well, my head is a dome. And that's when I found out that most wig caps are medium and my head isn't. So then I would end up splitting it and, you know, having to enlarge the wig cap. And that became such a problem that I actually drew in where I will split and then sew in a new section of lace, so that way it fits. And that only happens when I have a medium cap. If I'm lucky enough to get it large and just put it on, it works, you know, because it's the right size. Well, when I was doing the exact mold or whatever, like when you put the, I mean, first thing you do is you braid your hair down or wet it and then put a cap on it so that way it's absolutely flat like that. So then when they put the tape on in different sections and then wrap it completely up, now you have a mold of your head. And when you go have a prosthetic wig done, that's literally how they get your the shape of your head and the exact size or whatever. And they write right temple, left temple, widow's peak or whatever. And they literally draw or map out what your hair looks like. So when I did it the first time, I just literally drew in my hairline and my widow's peak. Then I stuck that on the canvas blockhead and traced it directly onto it, and that's how I got the exact measurement. So if you're going to customize your own wig and you want your hairline and all that, you don't even have to pluck. You just ventilate the hair where you have hair and leave it blank where you don't have hair, you know, which basically saves you money too, because if you ventilate this entire section straight across the way some people do and then turn around and pluck out those hairs, not only did you remove the hairs you paid money for that hair, so now you're going to remove the hair when you can just ventilate here, 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 here. There's nothing here because I don't have anything here. There's nothing here because I don't have anything here. But it's going around where I actually do have hair. So every time I make a wig, it's a perfect match. And a lot of times people can't tell, hey, she's wearing a wig. You know. And then I turned around and made a pink wig. And somebody at church last week, when they seen me this week, went, oh, you cut your hair. Why? Because, you know, they see it's pink. They see it's naturally curly. They just assume because, you know, here's the thing a lot of people don't realize. My hair is actually this long. But when they see a wig that's this long and straight, they just assume I straighten my hair. But now they see it like this and it's obviously shorter, so they assume I cut my hair. I said, no, that was a synthetic full lace wig. Well, it looks so natural. I said, yeah, because it took me a month to make it. I took my time on that. Oh, you made that? But your hairline. I was like, exactly. That's why you customize your stuff. Another thing, if you're making a synthetic wig, it really helps if you map your hairline because you can't pluck a synthetic wig. If you try to yank out a strand of synthetic hair, you're going to yank a hole into your lace. Lace wigs, even if they're synthetic, are expensive to buy, to make, because that lace is not, I mean, okay, if I went to the wig store right now and bought one of these, I found this at my house when we was cleaning it out. This costs $3. Okay, the lace cap costs $9.80-something. In other words, $10. So imagine you poked a hole in it. If you don't have another little spare piece of lace to patch that hole or whatever, you have to go out and buy another. That's another $10. Don't do it. Just map your hairline and get it right the first time. Anyway, you are up to date on day 4. And also, get yourself a draw card. So that way, you sandwich the hair in between. And this was track hair. So literally, I sandwiched the track. Then I just cut off the, I sandwiched the hair in here. And then I cut off the tracks. And then I just pulled the hair out as I need to. So that way, ta-da. And that also gets rid of all those little short hairs that you get at the end of a track where they have the fold over. So now I have one length that I can just, you know, and sometimes I, you know, sporadic it out so that way when it folds over, it's at the right level. And yeah, so now I just go ahead and ventilate this in since I don't want to just have a random piece of hair floating about. So, yeah. And that's another trick or trade. By the way, you can get the draw mat from either Amazon or AliExpress. Your choice. But Amazon has the exact same thing that you would get from AliExpress, but they cost more. AliExpress is cheaper, but you have to literally wait a month for your stuff to arrive. And if you have a problem with things that come from China, then just go through Amazon so you don't have to think about it, but that's where it comes from, China. The vendor I use on AliExpress is Ali because they were the cheapest. That has a silicone part and stainless steel ties and then a cloth overlay. I've seen people go to buy drawing cards and it turned out it was cardboard and cheap metal and, you know, that falls apart. And I'm like, why would you spend all that money for that? Oh, I got it at eBay. Don't go through eBay, trust me. It's like, why didn't you just go to AliExpress? Or his and her hair, Braids and Company also sell that. Let's see, who else sells it? Most companies that sell ventilating tools will also have drawing cards. But if you want a quality drawing card, that's where I got mine. And that literally is a replacement because the one I had originally is still at Catalina. That house has been cleaned out, so if I didn't find it in my pile of stuff, it is gone for good. So when I moved here and I couldn't find it, I just went ahead and ordered another one. So yeah, let's generate all that back in. And I still have this, shall we say, unorthodox method. I know some people get real close, smooth out each section as, each knot as they do it. I don't do it that way. I mean, as you can tell, it's faster to ventilate, a section of hair or however much hair that you took out of the draw card. And then spray it down. Take 4-bristle brush and brush those hairs, and that automatically gives you the same effect of smoothing. Especially if you use a hard 4-bristle brush. I have a soft 4-bristle brush that I use for styling my hair, and I have a hard bristle brush that I use for smoothing down the ventilation. So, And if I ever confuse the two, trust me, I know it. Because a hard bristle brush will not snag your hair or break your hair, which is the purpose of using boar bristle, because it's very gentle on the hair. But on your scalp, trust me, you will know if you have a hard one or a soft one. The hard one literally hurts because I have a sensitive scalp. The soft one, when you go like this, the bristles bend. And the hard one, you go like, and it's like you're rubbing against wood. It's stiff. Yeah. So, yeah. So, this has turned into tips with people. So I hope it helps somebody somewhere. And I am going to go open up a box of Cheez-Its, put it with some sugar-free drink mix, and that's going to be my snack because dinner didn't quite hold me. I kind of figured it wouldn't because I looked at how many calories the meal had on it, and anything that's under 300 calories, I tend to end up being hungry, and that only had 245. But that's usually when you put it with a salad or whatever, or, have a snack. There. Now, that hair has been added, so I don't have to worry about it just hanging around my room. And that way it didn't go to waste. And this hair texture is beautiful. Oh, that's another thing. When you buy hair, especially human hair that, isn't necessarily top of the line, so forth and so on, when you get it in the bundle, it might look like this. So you're thinking, hey, big curls, right? And then when you spray it with water and brush it, you'll see it's this texture. Well, when I asked for naturally curly hair and it showed up this texture, I wasn't mad, because this is the texture of my natural hair, as you can tell. When I brush it out, it literally looks just like this. There's no big fluffy curls. When you see big fluffy curls, that means they set it to be that way. And if I wanted to, I could heat set it or steam it into that pattern. But yeah, the wig looks like this, and those are the curls, and that gives you a slight kinky curly effect, just like my own hair, which furthers the idea that, oh, that's your hair, because the idea of a full lace wig is it looks natural. So yeah, anyway, I am finna go. This has been 35 minutes of ventilation talk with people at 7. And a little rambling here and a little rambling there, because that's who I am. This has been People at 7 on Twitter and YouTube, people elsewhere on the internet. My soaps are located at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Wait a minute. My soaps are located at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. Because I didn't know if I said that. And my blog is located at PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Every now and then I say the blogspot mixed in with the Shopify site and vice versa. So just to be sure, cover all bases, I said it twice. And those that are regulars, they know me. That's normal. This has been People. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye now.